The relationship between the United States and Iran has been fraught with tension and mistrust for decades. This animosity has its roots in the tumultuous events of 1979, a pivotal year that continues to cast a long shadow over the present. In that year, the Iranian Revolution toppled the US-backed Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, replacing his regime with the Islamic Republic, led by Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini. The United States, which had long viewed Iran as a crucial ally in the Middle East, was deeply unsettled by the revolution. The hostage crisis at the U.S. Embassy in Tehran, where 52 American diplomats and citizens were held captive for 444 days, further exacerbated tensions. This event, seared into the American psyche, became symbolic of the deep animosity between the two nations. The United States imposed sanctions on Iran, accusing it of supporting terrorism and seeking to develop nuclear weapons. Iran, in turn, denounced the United States as an imperialist power meddling in the affairs of the Middle East. The Iran-Iraq War of the 1980s, during which the United States provided support to Saddam Hussein's Iraq, further deepened the divide. This period of conflict only served to reinforce the existing animosity and sowed the seeds for future confrontations. Fast forward to January 2020, and tensions between the United States and Iran reached a fever pitch with the assassination of General Qasem Soleimani. Soleimani, the commander of the Quds Force, the elite overseas arm of Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, was killed in a U.S. drone strike near Baghdad International Airport. His death sent shockwaves through the region and brought the two countries perilously close to war. The Trump administration justified the assassination by claiming that Soleimani was planning imminent attacks on U.S. interests in the Middle East. However, this claim was met with skepticism from many quarters, with critics arguing that the killing was reckless and illegal, amounting to an act of war. Iran, outraged by the killing of one of its most powerful military leaders, vowed revenge. Days later, it launched ballistic missiles at 2 Iraqi military bases housing U.S. troops, injuring dozens. The assassination of Soleimani marked a significant turning point in U.S.-Iran relations, shattering any remaining semblance of trust. At the heart of the current tensions between the United States and Iran lies the issue of Iran's nuclear program. Iran has long maintained that its nuclear program is for peaceful purposes only, intended to develop nuclear energy and other civilian applications. However, the United States and its allies have accused Iran of secretly pursuing nuclear weapons capability, a charge Tehran vehemently denies. The 2015 nuclear deal, known as the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action or JCPOA, was a landmark agreement that sought to address international concerns about Iran's nuclear program. Under the deal, Iran agreed to limit its uranium enrichment activities and allow for rigorous inspections by the International Atomic Energy Agency in exchange for the lifting of economic sanctions. However, in 2018, the Trump administration unilaterally withdrew the United States from the JCPOA, reimposing sanctions on Iran and arguing that the deal was flawed. Since the U.S. withdrawal, Iran has gradually increased its uranium enrichment levels, exceeding the limits set by the agreement, raising alarm bells in Western capitals. Section 4. Military Maneuvering and Regional Instability, a powder keg in the Middle East. The Persian Gulf, a strategically vital waterway and a major artery for global oil supplies, has become a focal point of U.S.-Iran tensions. The United States has maintained a significant military presence in the region for decades, with a network of bases and a powerful naval fleet. Iran views the U.S. military presence in the Gulf as a provocation and a threat to its national security. Tehran has responded by bolstering its own military capabilities in the region, developing a sophisticated missile program and conducting naval exercises that showcase its ability to disrupt shipping in the Strait of Hormuz. The risk of miscalculation or an accidental clash in these crowded waters is a constant concern. With tensions running high, even a minor incident could quickly escalate into a wider conflict. Section 5. The shadowy world of covert operations and failed diplomacy. Beyond the public pronouncements and military posturing lies a shadowy world of covert operations and back-channel diplomacy. Both the United States and Iran have engaged in clandestine activities aimed at undermining each other's interests. These operations, often shrouded in secrecy, have further fueled mistrust and made it even more difficult to find a peaceful resolution to the conflict. The United States has accused Iran of supporting terrorist groups in the Middle East, providing them with funding, weapons, and training. Iran, in turn, has accused the United States of waging a campaign of sabotage against its nuclear program, allegedly using cyber attacks and other means to disrupt its efforts. Despite the deep animosity and the lack of trust, there have been sporadic attempts at diplomacy. European powers have sought to salvage the JCPOA and bring the United States and Iran back to the negotiating table, but these efforts have so far yielded little progress. Section 6. Potential future scenarios, from nuclear nightmares to diplomatic breakthroughs. The future of US-Iran relations remains uncertain, with a range of potential scenarios possible, each with its own implications for regional and global security. Nuclear escalation. One of the most concerning scenarios is a nuclear arms race in the Middle East, triggered by an Iranian decision to build nuclear weapons. Diplomatic breakthrough. Another possibility is a diplomatic breakthrough, perhaps facilitated by a change in leadership in either Washington or Tehran. A new agreement, building on the framework of the JCPOA, could address international concerns about Iran's nuclear program, while providing Tehran with much-needed economic relief. Proxy wars and regional instability. In the absence of a diplomatic solution, the most likely scenario is continued regional instability, with the United States and Iran locked in a protracted struggle for influence. Section 7. Conclusion. The perilous path ahead. The relationship between the United States and Iran is at a crossroads. Decades of mistrust and animosity have created a deeply entrenched conflict that shows no easy resolution. The stakes are high, with the potential for miscalculation and escalation ever present. Finding a path forward requires a clear-eyed assessment of the challenges and a willingness to engage in difficult conversations. The international community has a vital role to play in encouraging dialogue and de-escalation. By working together, it may be possible to avert disaster and build a more stable and secure future for the Middle East.